Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
To week 9 of We're the Harrises. We got Shelby Harris, current NFL star. We got Chris Harris Jr., legend, perennial Pro Bowler, and Super Bowl champion, and myself, Ryan Harris. Together, we have over 30 years of experience in the NFL. Well, let's start with first down, fellas. And one of our former teams, the Denver Broncos, continues to steamroll their way to the playoffs. What'd you make of their big victory last week?
Huge victory. I think a huge victory at a time where the Broncos could have sank or swim. You know, obviously that Cowboys team is not full speed. They're not full go. They've been over here going through the ups and downs of the season with injuries on the offense and defensive side of the ball. And then you had a familiar foe coming back in Javonte Williams with something to prove.
Yep.
And that Bronco team went nuts. Crazy. Shut them down from the beginning. The Broncos were just over here making highlight play after highlight play. Man, there goes that man JFM making plays all over the field again. Man, this Broncos defense is showing once again why, if Vance Joseph does not have a head coaching job next year, it is a travesty. I'm not even talking about my own Cleveland Browns defense because obviously I'm biased there. So I'm going to leave them out of it. But if you take the Browns out of it, the Denver Broncos are the best defense in the NFL right now. And we have to say it out loud. We have to enunciate that because I feel like nobody wants to admit the Denver Broncos are the best defense in the NFL right now. And they showed it this week with that complete performance against the Cowboys, even with the reigning defensive player of the year, Patrick Surtain, going down with an injury throughout in the middle of the game. That defense stepped up, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do next week against the Texans.
Well, if you look at the stats, Shelby, Houston's the number one defense, number one scoring defense, number one in yardage. So it's hard to, the Broncos are leading in sacks, right? But they're not getting as many turnovers if you look at Houston, getting the amount of interceptions. And, those are game changers, right? When you can turn interceptions to touchdowns.
100%.
That's what Houston's doing. And they got the edge, same. They got a pass rush, too, with Will Anderson. So it's going to be a good matchup. I like this matchup this week. Broncos can definitely make a statement. I can see the Chiefs; they're coming. It's the division. It's getting tight, and we don't want the Chiefs to start getting rolling, but they are at the right time. And but the Broncos just killed the Cowboys. The Cowboys just defensively is the worst I've ever seen. Secondary is just bad. They have no identity, no pass rush. It's all-time bad, worst defense. So the Broncos did what they're supposed to do. The rookie showed out. RG Harvey had 3 touchdowns. Bryant popped up out the screen and had caught a dot from Bo Nix.
Woo.
So, that's what we want to see. Barron and Jade had a pick, right? So it was a rookie coming out party.
Great pick, yeah.
Yeah, it was a rookies coming out party for the Broncos. And, it's always good to do it against Cowboys because, you got a lot of people you can talk mess to. So it was a great weekend.
Chris, you've been in that spot where Jade Barron was for that interception. Explain to people how hard it is to drop on that seam there, turn around and pick the ball like Jade Barron did.
Yeah, Broncos have used him in the dime situation where he's guarding the tight ends a lot. And now with Patrick Surtain being out for probably a month, coming back from that pec, he's going to have to play it a little bit more. So they're going to lean on him. But it's very hard to cover that seam, to be able to match up with big tight ends. I had to deal with Gronk on that seam, and that's damn near impossible. But Ferguson's a guy that's been leading the Cowboys, in the receptions, all throughout the season. So for him to be able to go out there and just eliminate him, because did he do anything in the game?
I don't think he had a catch.
No,
Ferguson did not have a catch. Yep.
Right. So the rookies they all ball.
So what changes though? Because right now, at this point, Pastor Surtain's not going to be there. So Barron's going to have a whole different role in this team. And I think this is where you're going to see if this defense has the depth that they need in order to really be a championship contender. It's early. And I don't like to be throwing out championship right now or anything like that. this team, like anything that happens to this team right now, is all for the callousing. It's going to callous you for later in the season. In order for when you need a play, when you need a guy who only played 8 games this year, but he has experience throughout the middle of the year. That's what's going to happen when you need to win a game, when you need to win these big games at the end of the year. And so I think this injury to Patrick Surtain is going to end up actually being a blessing in disguise, because guys that need to play and get that experience are going to get thrown into the fire now. So now later when it's time to play, they're already going to have the experience and it'll be cool, calm, and collected.
And, to your point, Shelby, they've been in the system too, right? It's not like week 1 they have to jump in there. They've been in the system. They know how you travel. They know what the film review is going to look like. They've seen when they don't listen, what happens in a game. So it's like they're coming in almost as a second-year player at this point in the season because of all that experience that you talk about. But let's be clear. Give Riley Moss the throne, man. Hey, have a seat. Your throne's ready, Riley Moss. They talked about him when he was drafted. They talk about him all throughout his career. And the refs hate this man because they want to be this man. Riley Moss gets to sit on the throne after that game. Pat Surtain goes out, no problem. They shut down that Cowboys defense. Riley Moss had to have a big game, and he did. And Nick Bonitto, to me, I know you're playing with a great one over there, Shelby, but to me, he is a top 3 defensive end. Nick Bonitto continues to impress. And yes, maybe he didn't get all the stats that he usually gets, but he helped John Franklin Myers get that sack. The quarterback is looking for him on every play. Okay, so that's a dude, as we call it back in the day when I was playing, man. That's a guy you got to know. Nick Bonitto's done a fantastic job.
He's doing a great job. Great job.
And I
don't think there's any comparison right now to a man that just had 5 sacks
in a loss, bro.
In a loss, and again, that's I think what Ryan just said is very important. In a loss.
Oh, it's never happened. It's never happened in the NFL where Myles Garrett had 5 sacks and the team lost by more than 3. I mean,
I'm talking about in a loss, so that means they're actually trying to run the ball.
Woo.
They have the lead. They're trying to run the ball. Now look at this. This Browns D-line. I just want to say this. Browns D-line. We're counting for 6 sacks. 10 TFLs against the New England Patriots. And we lost.
All right, Shelby, you brought it up now. We put Shedeur Sanders in. I'm not even going to ask the question, dog. I know you know all the people in the front office. Go up there with a letter and say, the Harrises have requested that Shedeur Sanders get in the game. I'm not saying anything bad about Dylan Gabriel. I'm just saying at this point in the season, you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Let that man play. Come on now.
Man, I think it's too early to say we got nothing to lose, man. Week 9, we got the bye week.
Let's see what their record is. 2-6.
2-6. That's so what have we not seen people run off 4 straight to get back to 500? That type of stuff happens.
Hey, we believe in you. Especially Shedeur Sanders is in there.
Hey, the issues that we have now will not help anybody that's in the game. We got to be able to run the ball. And no matter if you got a rookie quarterback in there, no matter who you have, no matter you look at any team that plays a rookie quarterback, you're not going to be successful if you don't run the ball, with actually some urgency and actually get something out of it. And we've been struggling to run the ball, and then that's something that I think we are all going to look at, coming back from the bye week and figure out what we can change. But the goal is you got to take pressure off that rookie quarterback, and so we all know it. It's not like a secret. The Patriots went in there and their focus was to stop the run, and they did, and they put the pressure on Dylan Gabriel, which I think is unfair because it's not all on him. It's not all on him, and obviously with having Shedeur being the number 2 right now, all the talk of any time that we lose like that, everyone's going to be like, put Shedeur in. Put Shedeur in. But that does no one any good. We got to fix the problems that we have right now, and the problem necessarily is not quarterback.
Yes, that does your whole organization good. Putting in a quarterback that can throw the ball down the field, that can maybe open up the run game because they believe they're scared of him to be able to throw the ball down the field, right? They don't fear Gabriel to throw deep. I would not fear him throwing deep versus me, right? If I played against him, I would know that, hey, it's probably coming out quick. He likes to throw seam routes down the seam. I'm not really worried about him throwing go balls. He's throwing like laser go balls. It's not the moon ball like Russell Wilson or back shoulders or anything like that. So they don't do sprint outs and things like that. So it's very easy to go against Dylan Gabriel. So I wouldn't, I think it would help out a lot to bring in a guy that can throw the ball down the field, that's that fits, I think, the system better than Gabriel. Instead of making a system for him, you got a guy that can run this system, the West Coast system, and be able to push the ball down the field. I mean, Judy is like, is he there? Because it seems like they can't get the guy the ball. Even Jameis was able to find success down the field with this receiver. So,
Jameis has no fear, and that's what we always loved about Jameis. So Jameis gonna throw that thing up regardless.
Unwavering.
He put up numbers. Look at the numbers he was putting up, right? So we know that in this system, you can put up numbers. You can throw the football. Even Flacco had some spurts where he was successful. So let's start molding the guy that is a pocket passer. You got a solid O-line. Let's get the run game going. But I guarantee you the receivers start running routes harder. Everybody in there gets a little burst, a little boost. The fans, the dog pound is going to be ready. Everybody's going to have the 12 on. Y'all need some life right now. Now, 2-6. You're lucky y'all are still in a terrible division.
I wouldn't say terrible division. It's just a division that is actually just killing each other.
You're still in play at 2-6. You're still alive.
Remind me of those Broncos days where obviously the Chiefs were already 7-1 or whatever at this point. You're like, hey, we still got a chance for the wild card. We still got a chance to
Let's
fight
go.
back.
Hey, you got to have that belief. I think two reasons why I think you put Shedeur Sanders in. Number one, it always shocks me why NFL teams at this point, yes, you're 2-6. Yes, you can still get to the playoffs and know what your roster is. You have to know that roster because let's be clear, you get to 2-7, 2-8, or even 3-10. You need to start planning for next year, and you need to know what players you can count on and what players you can't. And then for the second reason, like you said, Chris, I mean, you need some life. Everybody on that team knows more than us. We give you that, Shelby. And you need a spark, and no one on offense has brought it yet.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing, it just does not do anyone any good to sit there and be like, this quarterback's going to do this quarterback's going to do that. Especially because for me, on being on the defensive side of the ball, we are not playing perfect. And so who are we on the defensive side of the ball? I don't care, like the way, Chris, this too. You give us a blade of grass, we got a chance to stop you. You know what I mean? And that's all that really matters. And so no matter what's going on the offensive side of the ball, we're not putting up shutouts, but we have the talent that we can. And for us, that's our standard. So no matter what the offense does, we're not playing good enough on defense. Like no matter what. And that's what's going to make us the best defense in this league is because we have, a margin that we hold ourselves to this every day. And anytime we fall to this, we say that's unacceptable. We can't hold the offense accountable for something that we can control.
Well,
your defense is getting tore up, man. They're killing y'all in the air, right? You try to get rid of Newsome and get Campbell. Campbell's been, he's been hit a couple times already. Jenkins, that's one of my boys. I love him back there. He's playing solid, and Denzel's doing his job. So, but when it comes to pass defense, everybody has to play their role and do their job. And right now, y'all aren't clicking all the way that you need to be.
Yeah, I think a lot of the talk that needs to happen more when it comes to defenses is more of like the cohesiveness. Are 11 people out there doing their job, or is it 9 or 10? And then quarterbacks always have a way of finding that one that's not in the position that they're supposed to be in. And that's the same thing for offense. Think about this on a run play. If you have 10 people doing their job, but then the tight end doesn't close off the DN, and he shoots down the line and makes the TFL, that ruins the play no matter if everybody else is doing their job. And I think more people need to realize that's more of what happens in the NFL. You have 9 or 10 people doing their job, one person that doesn't, and then you get punished for it. And the teams that are successful are the ones where they have more plays where 11 people are doing their job at the same time.
I just want to point out to everybody, what you just heard from Shelby Harris is what makes a pro. Number one, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. He's like, hey, we got to do more on defense. I mean, that ability, Shelby, that you just showed everybody as a pro, doesn't matter what's going on that side of the ball. We got stuff we can fix here. I mean, that's the kind of focus that does get you from 2-6 to the playoffs. But let's go to third down, fellas. We got a 7-1 Danny Dimes-led Colts team. We have some big losses by not only the Bears, but the Cowboys. when you look at week 8, what games stick out to you in terms of teams that are really struggling or have found that success?
I would say right now, the Packers look good. Them still rolling on defense. Jordan Love making plays. They just have weapons all over, and guys that are very explosive, has speed all over the board. The young secondary is very impressive, right? Making plays back there. But Gary and Michael Parsons have been a problem also. So I like the Packers. They definitely impressed me. The Colts still rolling. I guess Danny Dimes is for real. Right, he's continuing
MVP. Let's go.
Yeah, he's balling, and I wouldn't say him. I would give it to Taylor.
Thank you. Thank you for taking
the
words out of my mouth. Thank you.
Yeah, I would give it to Taylor. But he's definitely, Danny has to have Daniel Jones has to have a running back, right? When he had his best years, he had Saquon. Saquon was rolling. Now he just falls right in Taylor, and I swear the Colts wanted to get rid of this guy not too long ago.
Twice.
Like a year ago. They were trying to.
Right. Now he's a fan favorite. Right. You see how quick those things turn when you start balling. But I would say the Colts are for real, and the Packers. Those would be my top teams going into next week.
Man, the team, like everyone keeps talking about, we talk about the Colts right now, right? But we keep talking about Danny Dimes, and that's not the reason that they're 7-1. It is purely Jonathan Taylor and that O-line. And I'm not taking any other answers for that. It is Jonathan Taylor and that O-line. They are over here paving the way for a guy to be the leading rusher in the NFL. And anytime you have the leading rusher in the NFL and you have a defense that's playing their ass off, how the Colts are, you're going to win. That's what made Daniel Jones good when he was with the Giants. Though when they made the playoffs the years with Brian Dable with the Giants, it was all Saquon Barkley, handing the ball off to Saquon Barkley nonstop. And then we're doing play action off the stretch of it. That's what made Daniel Jones good. That's when he was able to take his shots downfield, was because the run game was working. That is what type of quarterback Daniel Jones is. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it is Jonathan Taylor's MVP and it's his team. That's the big picture. And the big matchup we're going to see this week is going to be Colts versus the Steelers. Cannot wait. Can't wait to see how that Colts O-line goes against that Steelers D-line. And because, everyone always knows, the Steelers are supposed to be one of the best run-stopping teams in the league. Well, the Colts are the best running team in the league right now. So we're going to see two forces run into each other, and we're going to see who comes out as the winner. My hope is the Colts, because who cares about the Steelers? But that game's going to be that's going to be one of the best games of the week, and I think it's going to be a hard-nosed defensive game.
Well, and to your point, if the Colts can do it against the Steelers, who I play for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, I'll tell you what, they want it. They every game plan, stop the run. They start with stop the run. And so if you can do it against the Steelers, regardless of their record, we all have been in those games where you're like, hey, that was a win against a very good team in this area or in that area, and we can take a lot of confidence from that. But, fellas, I can't remember the last time we saw a player rejuvenate the way that Jonathan Taylor has. I mean, he looks 5 years younger, and he's only gotten 3 years older since we remember him gashing up defenses. So I don't know what his nutrition plan is or his workout plan, but please believe there's going to be about 20 running backs in the NFL this year who are calling him to spend the offseason with him because of the season he has this year.
He's healthy now. Don't forget, he had those high ankle sprains that he was always coming back from. And for a running back, those are a huge deal, especially for your explosiveness and being able to get in and out of cuts. That's why we're starting to see this Jonathan Taylor that we knew before, because he's healthy now.
And he held out, and, when you hold out, you kind of come back a little slower. So he started slow, and then I think the next year he had injuries, and they had Anthony Richardson. Right? Who can run with him? So, after getting rid of him, pretty much everything opened up with Daniel Jones. So now he's starting to see that success. But, another big game, the Bills versus the Chiefs, right? Josh Allen versus Mahomes. That's going to be a huge game. Both of them need a win, to try for the Chiefs to kind of stay on pace with the Broncos. And, the Bills, they got a threat now over there with the Patriots. So they got to be able to keep pace with them. So this is a huge game for both teams already.
Yeah, when I look at first what the Patriots are doing is amazing. Shout out to Mike Vrabel. Wow, it's amazing when your head coach actually played the game. wow, right? You can
Yeah.
win. We can win football games. So shout out to Mike Vrabel, what he's doing over there. A tough situation in New England for the Patriots there, and he's turned that program around in a short amount of time. But when you look at this AFC, I mean, when you look at the NFL, to me, you got three teams that really are having problems. That's the Cowboys, the Bears, and the Giants. I mean, those three teams, I say what you want about Dak Prescott on offense for the Cowboys. You don't have a team again that can get you to the playoffs and compete for a Super Bowl championship. The Bears, Caleb Williams, I'm sorry, it's over. I told y'all, I saw him in college. I really hoped that he would turn it around. Has not. And then for how long are we going to do this with the Giants? They lost Shedeur. Feel real bad for him. That's a really bad injury. We all have teammates that have had that one. That is a long recovery. So prayers to him and his family. Shedeur was bringing some joy and some fun to the game. We love when young players do that in a devastating injury, but they have some problems going forward. So those three teams need to get it together. But for me, the big matchup coming up in week 9, that's the Broncos versus the Texans. I mean, Texans are balling right now. They found it. They're working. They're doing their thing. And the Broncos, they have to prove it again against the top team. They're going to get that opportunity against the Texans. But when you look at the Chiefs, they're back, okay? They're back. Travis Kelce, back, all right? You got Worthy, back. Rashee Rice, back. Patrick Mahomes, looking as good as he ever has. So, and oh, by the way, that Chiefs defense is nothing to sneeze at either. So you got a lot of teams separating themselves right now, and I can't wait for week 9.
I don't think we can't let this one injury go by without saying something. I think it's going to be a bigger injury than what people think. Pacheco getting hurt last game, they were relying heavily. They were relying heavily on what he was doing, and on him churning yards, getting those tough yards. He was kind of part of the heartbeat of that team. He get the ball, and he's running his ass off. So with him being out, and Kareem Hunt still a good back, but you're not getting those explosives that you were getting with Pacheco.
He's injured too.
Yeah, and so I think that's a big deal. It's going to be a big deal because the Chiefs, the way they kind of got back to playing Chiefs football was kind of, reinventing their run game.
Yes.
Getting back into the run game, forcing teams to actually have to play the run game. Because the one thing the Chiefs do well is they run the ball on both sides of the ball. They go same side runs and they go opposite side. So what the Chiefs do, though, is they keep you off kilter a little bit. So now that Pacheco's hurt and Hunt's ailing, we'll see what happens. But that was a big part of why they started to be successful again.
Well, let's go to 4th down. And one of the things that we want to tell you, the listener and viewer, when you're in the NFL and you're playing week to week, you love this time of year. End of October to November, number 1. Hopefully you're separating yourself as a team that can play and compete for a championship. But number 2, you got a lot to watch. And fellas, I stayed up all 18 innings for that Dodgers game. We got the NBA back, boys. What are you watching these days?
My Milwaukee Bucks, baby. My Milwaukee Bucks. They went out there the other day and put a whooping on the New York Knicks. The team, with all the drama of the offseason and everyone saying Giannis wanted to get traded to New York, I don't know if you would want that anymore. We did that with a banged-up team. They went out there and beat the Knicks down. But, man, we can't. This is the best time of year, like Brian was saying. We got baseball. We just watched the 18-inning classic. And then the next day, the Blue Jays come out there and ball out against the Dodgers. We have one of the best World Series that we've seen in the last 20 years. And so that's exciting right now for me as a baseball guy. I can't wait to see how that series finishes. It's 2-2 right now. And then now with basketball back, though, it's just a time where everyone can start talking trash again. Chris can be the fair weather fan that he was already before, picking a new team that he wants to jump on the bandwagon
every year. Come on, Chris.
Year.
Pick one.
Lakers are
every year.
We're doing all right without Bron and Luka. We're doing all right.
He's a Laker guy. Okay.
We're having arguments now if Giannis is traveling or not. They didn't call it, so let it go. You know what I mean? So it's an amazing time of the year. And honestly, as a sports guy, it doesn't get any better.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers, I think they're going to win this series. I think they got the clutch guys that been in this 2-2 situation to be able to win this series. I wonder if Shohei's going to pitch. I think if he goes out and pitches and have one of those, 7-inning pitches and, 3 homers again, you got to give him the GOAT.
Well, he pitched yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, he pitched yesterday? I missed that.
And he got beat up on. Gave up 4 runs.
Well, he gave up.
Man.
But, hey, But he gave the thing about Shohei Ohtani is he was in the batter's box like 8 hours earlier before his first pitch. Like that's never happened in baseball. But what people are missing with Shohei Ohtani is the mental part of the game. You look at Shohei Ohtani when he's in that batter's box, it's the same face every time. And he's hitting home runs, he's hitting doubles. He's just approaching everything just one swing at a time, one opportunity at a time, one pitch at a time. And I hope that parents of athletes are paying attention to the greatness of the mental game that Shohei has in addition to his physical performance.
I mean, he's a physical freak, man, because when you see Shohei running, you don't realize how fast he is.
Moving.
Right? This guy can do it all, run the bases. He's probably a damn good outfielder too. A guy that can just do everything, just all-time great athletes. But it's gonna be some tight races, man. I like what I'm seeing from the NBA. I like what I'm seeing from Victor. He's looking like the number one player in the league this year, starting out. Who's your team?
No, don't do that. Giannis is still here, baby.
Hey,
Giannis is averaging 30. He is.
All of y'all can stop talking because the Denver Nuggets are winning in the NBA Finals, not just because of Nikola Jokic. They finally got a backup center in Jonas Valanciunas. This guy's going to give you 12, 8, and 4. I'm talking about 4 fouls. Come on. Get a backup center finally.
They're going to win it because of Valanciunas.
They're going to win the
NBA look like Travis Kelce.
Come on, man.
Because of Valanciunas. They're not winning the NBA championship. Thank you. The NBA Cup in the middle of the year in Vegas. Yeah, put that banner up for the Nuggets, man.
Have y'all seen Michael Porter Jr.?
I'm happy we getting these midseason awards. Clap it up for him. But we all know what's going to happen at the end of the year.
Ryan, have you seen Michael Porter Jr.?
Kind of turn it around a little bit.
He looks like a guy that can do it all now. He's taking all the shots. He's loving it now.
He's the man.
Kind of see his game.
Well, and one of the things that we all know, sometimes players perform better when you're in a new environment. And we'll say it. A lot of times because the player's like, oh, man, I was really acting up over there. I'm not going to let that happen again. I mean, that happened to me when I got let go from the Broncos before coming back. I was like, oh, I was part of the problem. And Michael Porter Jr. to me seems like that type of player who has all the tools but learned like, oh, I've got to be a pro on my own, and it's starting to show.
Well, I look at it like the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate. And I'm not saying that he's like that at all, but this walk this route with me for a little bit. So what I'm saying is, though, is when people make that argument between Michael Jordan and LeBron, the argument with Michael Jordan was, well, he was never asked to do certain things that LeBron's asked to do. And the way I look at it, that is Michael Porter Jr. was not asked to do anything really with the Nuggets other than shoot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But now he's with the Nets, they're telling him, hey, we need you to play more of a complete game, and he's showing that. And so that's kind of the argument I have is, it's not that he couldn't do it, it's just that he wasn't asked to do it, and he had a specific role with the Nuggets where they're like, sit in the corner and go shoot these threes.
Great point.
That was what it is. Sit in the corner and go shoot these threes. Now it's like, hey, you want to dribble the ball a little bit? You want to be a facilitator a little bit? Like, what do you want to do? Like, it's your team now. So he has his freedom now, and with the Nets that he didn't have before. And you don't have anyone looking at you if you shoot some crazy shots, being like, we have Nikola Jokic in the middle, give him the ball. You don't have that guy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's more freedom. It's less handcuffs on him, so he's able to just go out there and play.
Last topic today, boys, overtime. We've got $169 million being paid to 3 coaches who are no longer coaching their football teams in Penn State, Oklahoma State, and LSU. Sorry, Coach Kelly. Boys, what do we got to do to get players some of this money? It bothers me that you have coaches making 31 cents per minute until 2032 or something, and you got kids on the roster who can't fly their parents in for the game, even in this NIL world. So for everybody's been saying NIL is ruining sports. No, bad coaches are ruining college football. What do you guys make of all this extra dead money getting paid to bad coaches while players keep playing?
It's on the universities, the athletic directors, because right now the agents are kicking their butts, right? The agents are able to get great exit deals for these guys. And a lot of times these universities and these ADs are firing these guys with multiple years left on their contract, right? So it's just bad deals all the way around. And now the boosters, they're just lending out money that could definitely go to the players. That could definitely go into the Now they're sharing it. What do they call it? Revenue share.
Revenue share, yeah.
Now they have a revenue share. So all that, I wish it could go back in there and then, be able to go out evenly, get the guys even more money. But, these coaches are making a lot of money. And, they don't even have to go coach. They can collect all that. But I think Franklin does. He might have something in there where he might have to be active to be able to collect the majority of it. Right. So I see him definitely bouncing back. It's tons of opportunities. Right, all these coaches getting fired. You got LSU, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Penn State. So it's gonna be more, right? So I'm glad they're holding these guys accountable. But at the end of the day, they're gonna go back. He's gonna sign another multi-year deal at another school, have another big buyout. Just the agents are killing them.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily holding these guys accountable, because if you were holding them accountable, you'd make them fix the messes.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, the issue is these schools are getting caught up in the headlines and the you need the instant success, but you can't afford it. Like LSU, you're paying $50 million to somebody, then you got to go pay another $50 million to get somebody into LSU for a coach that everybody said didn't belong there in the first place. In the first place, how do you go from Notre Dame to LSU and expect that to be a cultural fit? They're two completely different places. And then you look at the James Franklin situation. Rumor is that Adidas was the one that said do it. Man, Adidas said, we'll pay it.
I was at the Orange Bowl. This guy did not throw the receiver in a playoff game. James Franklin's the problem, man. Yeah. So he's got to get out of his own way too. I mean, and especially for a coach of color, you want them to be successful. It's rare, the opportunities they get, especially at a big school like Penn State. And we all know you got to be the best. And James Franklin was not the best in many areas. And I don't know how. I've never seen a coach lose as many press conferences as James Franklin did. Constantly sounding awful. Constantly, you're like, man, I want to cheer for you. You make it impossible. You say crazy things. You attack other coaches while you're not playing your best football. So I'm with you, man. It's crazy.
But then also you got Mike Gundy, who should have been fired years ago. Oklahoma State has been out of relevance even before NIL became relevant. So this is all, you can say Oklahoma State was a little late. Penn State, you could have did that. The issue was they made it to the national championship. They made it to the championship playoffs last year.
Yep.
And so, but the biggest thing I think that is not being said though is whenever a coach should get fired, somebody at the school should be getting fired too. They're the ones who brought him on. You're the one that's costing the school all this financial problems. Who hired him? If you're firing him, AD needs to go too. All these people need to go. There needs to be more accountability. That's what's missing in college football, because we only want to talk about accountability for players now. Everybody wants to be hard as hell on players about what they need to be doing, how they need to satisfy everything on their contracts, do all this stuff. But then we sit there and hand $50 million to somebody and say, get out.
And to your point, Shelby, I don't want the AD that hired the person we're paying $50 million to leave to hire the next guy. We want somebody else to hire that guy. And so you're 100% right there, Shelby. Well, that's this week's We're the Harrises. Tune in next week to catch the best football and sports talk. Like, share, and subscribe.